Recording and perfect. Sweet. Welcome everyone. We'll do this at the end of our session here, talking about any questions or comments from the last week. 5-ish things that we've been building on as we're going into week 6. This week, we are going to kind of have it open-ended depending on what you need to focus on. So first of all, you're doing awesome. Seriously, like I was planning on like not being able to talk that much today, so I wrote a lot, but if you were on this call or if you're watching this later on or clicking through the slides, you are awesome. So let's just talk about what you've kind of achieved. We've done 5 weeks, which is fantastic. I know a lot of you have done like 7 or 21-day challenges or like resets. Some of you have done like the whole 30 or a modified whole 30 or like a whole 17. So the fact that we've like accomplished 5 weeks and we're still kind of checking in and trying to be 1% better is freaking awesome. So good job. If you are feeling like you should be hard on yourself, I suggest that you try not to do that and just see how that feels. Like you don't need to be hard on yourself. The world's hard enough without you like layering it on. So tell yourself you're doing awesome and we'll continue to work on being a little bit better. All right, so this is what I want to talk about and how to prioritize what to focus on for next week. So let's come up with like a point score sheet so far of how well you think you're doing certain things. So for the last week, we had the 5-minute habit for 7 days, 7 points. Cool. And then I kind of just came up with a number. Most of you are eating between like 2 to 3 meals a day. So in the week, let's just say that you're eating like a legit 17 meals. If it's more, fine. If it's less, fine. But we'll just kind of use this as a point system right now. And you can adjust this as it works for you. So you're gonna come up with your points and we'll talk a little bit about this in a second and I will show you my score sheet and you can kind of write your own comments in if you print this out or make notes on it. So for last week, for me, I had oral surgery on Monday and had a bunch of stitches put in my lip. They had to remove this like cyst on my lip. So not a big deal, but the stitches freaking sucked and it was really hard to talk, eat, drink. So this was my score for last week. My 5-minute habit was to read outside. And that was my habit in the morning that I did for 5 minutes every day to get a little vitamin D, have a little time for myself before I started the day really. So I successfully did that. Eating protein. I was eating like maybe once a day with like a protein shake is like what I could get down for like 2 days. So I didn't do great at protein, but I did discover how to add a couple things in after my mouth started feeling better, including this broccoli and cheddar bone broth soup, which actually tasted really good. And it had 15 grams of protein. And it's in a box on the shelf, so it's shelf stable. Anyways, it was pretty great. In terms of eating slow, I crushed it because that's all I could do. I had to take these like very, very little baby-sized bites if I had like the scrambled eggs, very small sips. It took forever. In terms of carbs, I was prioritizing protein when I was eating and then, you know, fat with the ice cream, but so did not do great with the carbs and then eating to satisfy. It was a pretty depressing week in terms of food. So that's my overall score for the week. And then what I'm gonna do to take it to the next step is try to be a little bit better for this upcoming week now that my mouth is feeling better. So for next week, I'm gonna continue doing my reading outside because that brings me a lot of joy, but I'm gonna be adding in more meditation into my world. And I'll probably do that outside before I start to read. So I'm going to kind of piggyback on a habit that has worked for me consistently for the last week, and then add the meditation in ahead of time. So being outside in the sunshine, meditating for 5 minutes, and then rewarding myself with reading, which I really enjoy. And then since I had a really hard time with food this past week, I'm going to start to prioritize my protein again, and then have some more backup protein available. And it turns out I can't eat. I wrote this yesterday. It was questionable, but I'm feeling much better today. So tuna fish works really well for me. There's these frozen turkey patties we get at Fresh Time that we can just throw on the cast iron frozen, and they turn out pretty great. And then I just restocked on my protein powder, so I will be good for backup protein for my meals next week. And then for my carbs, that's the second thing that I'm going to focus on just a little bit, and trying to be just a little bit better. So we do a lot of fries in the air fryer because they're delicious and easy. This week I'm going to I have a plan to do more baked potatoes instead of the fries. And then for myself, Wednesdays and Thursdays are really busy days for me. And I've been kind of skipping my meals and not eating until 12 or 1. And then I end up kind of overeating and eating really fast. It's not satisfying to me and isn't working for me. But I do like my overnight oats or the chia seed pudding. So I'm going to be making that on Tuesday on my day off, so I have it ready for the rest of the week. Oh, good to know. Thanks, Julia. And then I'm not going to worry about the other stuff because this week sucked and I want to have a win for this upcoming week. So don't feel like you have to do all this stuff if you're kind of off track, so to speak, a little bit. We'll kind of scale back this week, focus on what's working really well, and kind of try to add on to that. And then things that you might be struggling with, like come up with a plan of how we could be 1% better in the upcoming week. And that is basically what I wanted to talk about today. So low pressure week in terms of new content, but coming back and kind of figuring out what to focus in on might be helpful for week 6 because we're starting week 6. And that's it. So does anyone have any questions or comments, or like looking at like kind of your score sheet for yourself, what you like know you're going to work on in the upcoming week? Anybody?
Well, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So for sure, I am going to work on carbs, but probably not this week because I'm going to be on vacation.
Yeah.
But the rest of it's going well, and I really like to have the Vital Proteins in the morning in my coffee. It like, I don't know, fills me up and keeps me from being like super hungry at noon or 1.
Nice.
Especially like if I don't have time to eat breakfast. So that is a win for me. And I'm going to keep that up.
I love it. So you're going to bring that with you to the house?
I am, yeah. I'm going to bring it with and just keep going with it.
Cool. I love it. Excellent. All right. Well, that's it, guys. Your hair looks great, Julia.
I literally was just looking, I was like, wow, it's like sticking out straight to the side. It's crazy. I don't know how it happened, but thank you.
Oh, look at this one.
Yeah, so you guys are doing awesome. Good job. And then real quick, just while we're doing this, a lot of the habits work well if you focus on them for 2 weeks, or 14 days. We kind of mixed it up a little bit and kind of like front loaded the first 5 weeks, 5 different habits. So now we're kind of trying to.
Okay, look at this.
All right. Well, good job, everyone, and I will talk to you soon.
Thanks, Megan.
Thank you, Megan.
Nice. Have a good weekend. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
I can't get new.